Yeah, that's got to get that shot. Now, this is a little tighter. Helen, but the key thing is that I'm going to change position in this shot and get a car. You should stay one constant speed. You should stay the same distance away from the ice truck at all times. So don't look what this car is going to go. It's going to go forward and backward.
There's never anybody directly.
Nobody's ever behind you.
And I stay this far away from this? No.
No, from the ice truck. No, this is not close at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to use that again. Wait a little bit. Wait a little bit till we get to the top of the hill. Yes.
No, I have not. I see her go by. Did you sign papers?
Makes your tongue right down.
She did? He stops me. Did you sign papers?
Forget race.
You gonna say hello? Did she sign the paper? But I'm still walking. Did she sign the papers? Did she sign the papers?
Shit.
She didn't sign them.
Come on. We can still catch her. Come on.
And markers! And tail knocking.
That felt pretty good. I felt like we should clear when we did. I felt like we should get out when we did.
Yeah, radio man.
Yeah.
We're doing through here with it.
Back, gentlemen. We got a camera right here, guys. Be careful.
Let's go. Move!
Jeremy? Yeah. Jeremy, what did you get? You get the little mountains down there. You did this before too. You know, so
That's a cut.
cue her a little later, David. So you start to sense the opening and go behind her, and then so when the door closes, you're already in the right position to reveal the tornado on the side.
5 seconds before you pull out.
You're sure it's not Bill?
Yeah, guys, I really want to keep channel 1.
You have to wait a long time, guys.
Let's keep the channel.
Yeah, let's do it. But I'd rather go and make at least 4 minutes. You want her? Well,
Okay, never look that way in the shot.
yeah, probably. We'll go around again. That's fine. Then a little pause, then her car comes by. And if the car comes by, you say, did she sign the papers? That's the only cue, okay? Yeah.
Thank you.
It's special taxi.
Jim is right there.
TV. Yep. Yeah.
And rolling now.
Turning.
Guest late.
Thank you. Beautiful.
wrap them in 620 on a 10 hour, right?
Jim, you're going to start it. Aim it sideways.
You're going to have to
Jim,
hold on to them. I don't have
aim it sideways. So, if you start your hill when you're on top of the bridge, the first part, aim it sideways. And as soon as you pass the bridge, I would say like about 10, 15 yards, then you aim it towards them, okay? How much ice we got left?
I'll check with Swami. Swami, how much ice we got left?
We'll be a lead band. Yes, I can. That's on that. No.
They'll be up high enough in the air.
Should have built fence like the first time. I mean, as he puts his jacket on under the bridge.
And then the debris starts, which is past the bridge by quite a bit. Halfway up.
Yeah.
You got it.
Leo has one. And inside the car, can Helen hear me now?
That's probably enough. Is that it? That's quite a bit.
Enough?
That's quite a bit.
Focus on all three of them.
You better check this one first.
He's crazy. He's
Twister
crazy.
at the beach. Who's the
He's very crazy. A medium explosion.
Sure, we'll
You know
blow
what I'm
you
saying?
up.
Is the car coming back?
Yeah, it is coming back. It's tilted down. You're going to loosen it up now?
I wish.
I just wonder. Even if they don't have to be spooked, you just let them wander.
Okay.
Alright.
I just worried they get spooked.
Make it bigger. A little bigger.
We got another one.
Okay, now, on the hood valve, go ahead and just crack it.
Okay, thanks. Steve, I gotta get that ambulance from the corner down here.
And open it all the way.
Alright, that's good. That's good. Yeah, this shouldn't be more than that. That's good. Okay, that's great. Okay, so if you can give me then another little small fire down there behind the horse, that'd be great.
Better there. See, there's a camera over here in this auto store. When that truck comes by, it's going to be looking right this way. So I want to see all this blood. I want this arm down like that. Perfect. Right in there. There you go.
So many injured people. If the alarm had sounded, they would have gotten out of here. They would have been gone. They would have, not that many people would have been injured.
Does it make you wonder if it's just too late? The alarm sounded too late. I mean, I like this better, but.
But the alarm never sounded. I think it really never sounded as bad. I think it's more. It's really. It states more. What it really makes it clear how important it is that it's going to be a better warning system. You know what I mean? That's the key.
Roll sound.
I'll give you the full. Hey, is someone in transportation driving that car back to London?
Look, Atlanta's burning.
Yeah, Michael's right. What?
Boom up, guys. Boom up. Boom up. Quicker. Quicker. Quicker.
Danny, Bentley.
Pretty bad to protect the paint, huh?
Pretty dark inside.
So they're underexposed. I'm underexposing them too.
Yeah?
Hey, officer. Have a donut? You're all set.
Thank you.
Put them in, yeah.
So anyway, if the car is in this area, then you can do it.
Pop it off.
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay. See what? And basically, once you pass that car, the shutter's over. Oh yeah, Jonas, his team. Jonas will be right here. He's going to be interviewed by his own guys. He's looking like he's recording.
I'm coming through here.
Now you guys go straight that way, okay?
Here, and after I pass this car, the shot's over.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Can I
So-
get way down there? Because I got the whole team behind me.
No. The team is not behind. You guys are way ahead of everybody.
Way ahead of everybody.
You're all by yourself.
Great,
The
great,
team.
great.
So you're gonna fall. This is not a. This is the key scene. The alarm never sounded. Yeah, no worry. Joe, we don't know. Look at them. Look at the people. It's because you see people everywhere. It's like totally. They're like dolls. You know. They have the.
Just get all the Jonas team together.
I want the
then
one
you'll
that's all
be able
bloody.
to talk to them.
Yeah. I'm out of blood, so you hang right here. I'll get something for you to do.
Like 300 horsepower and you get stuck.
Hey, listen, man, it
It's
was either
pretty
me or the little
embarrassing.
girl's head.
And you want to be a Formula One race car driver?
The little girl's arm. I didn't want to rush it. So
Okay, but this is a better speed. Let's just do it and see if we can prevent that little stop. And that's it.
There's a couple people on stretchers. There's some stunt people down
In the road there?
I slowed down, and that's why I got stuck. They were too.
I'll take care of that.
Just
They
make sure
weren't
they're out
on
of
the
the
road.
road.
They were too
You know
close
that
to the
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning, also the horse was sort of.
Yeah, the horse, unfortunately.
He's like, whatever.
You guys look like you were chasing the
trying to
horse.
honk the horse. The horse, there was no horn in the car. There's
Turning
no
around
horn
going,
in the car.
it's a movie, man.
I'm
It's a
gonna
big
reach
wide
out
shot.
and, like, hit
Relax.
the horse
The horse
or
is like.
yes.
Okay, pal? Electronic Press Kit.
Well, I was just going to ask you to bump that and I was going to see it going around.
That's a lot of words for a very
Very good.
Yes, now I'm ready.
Here I go.
Electronic Press Kit.
Hold that too long. Punch up on the keyboard.
This insanity is the poor town of Wakita, which we've successfully completely destroyed. Bill Paxton and I have a running joke since the day we got on this film, which is that we look at each other once in a while and go, "This is a big movie. It's a really big movie." I play a woman who chases tornadoes for a living, a scientist who is interested for research purposes and personal purposes to find out about tornadoes. Someone who was touched by one early in her life and has bordering on an obsession with getting near these things. These are two people who used to do this together. This instrument pack was his idea, and what we've tried to build is this very long and sexy history between these two people, tons of chemistry that then exploded. And I call him back to supposedly give him some divorce papers, but also woo him into going on this chase with me, because this is the 24 hours of the biggest storm, one of the biggest storms in history. And I'm surprised with the news that he's actually engaged. We've created this this instrument pack called a Dorothy, which we hope to get inside a tornado so that we can understand more what makes it work. That the idea is that she's sort of tornado-like in her unpredictability and her, and we all sort of liked the idea that she's the kind of woman you really hope you don't fall in love with, because she leaves a damage path like this wherever she goes, and those are things that I hadn't seen in a movie before, and I thought, I can play this part, and Jan just ferociously wanted me to play it, and I was so flattered by that, and there's no better way to start an enormous experience like this than to know that the director has refused to meet all these incredible actresses because he has a sense that you're right for it, and maybe that's what made me feel like I was right for it. I was very nervous to take it in a way, because I'm working on my show and then doing this movie and then going right back to work on my show, but I also had this sense that I was meant to play this part, so here I am.
That's fantastic.
One of the things I like about Mad About You is that I'm hugely involved in every aspect of it, and one of the beauties of this experience is that I feel like a soldier rather than a general, it's his movie, and I am very proud to try to complete his vision of it. The night before we started shooting, there was an awesome thunder and lightning storm. And as an actor, you always hope that there'll be some omen that you were born to play the part, or that you're, perfectly suited. The night before this movie started, I was lying in my bed going, if there were a tornado coming, I would run the other way. I feel like the way Jan shoots is like that. He wants it very much, he said, to be like this action is going on and the cameras just happen to be there catching it. And so everybody sort of has to get into that frame of mind if they're going to be here. I've met some interesting people who do this, and I ask them all, aren't you afraid? And they all say, no, they're not. They're fascinated. I think there's as many different reasons as there are people who do it. You know, there's some who do it for science, and some who do it for sport, and some who do it for both.
These guys have these armadas of cars, and they're out. What they basically do is they go out as a convoy, and when they get close to a storm, they all split up and try to kind of surround the storm or the tornado, and they try to collect different data. So you've got this kind of driving thing. These storms are going to hit. They're going to hit with this storm system that's going to last maybe 24 hours, and that's going to be that. There is a race against time. There's a race to get to these storms. They're falling all over the state. So there's just this inherent drive. So a lot of the movie is driving. I mean, I've never done so much driving. Not only did I drive a lot in the movie, but God, I put 14,000 miles on my rental car, driving all over Oklahoma and Kansas and Iowa. And in the next 24 hours, what occurs is kind of like what occurred in April 3rd and 4th of 1974, what they call a super outbreak, where tornadoes from a storm system were literally 148 tornadoes were formed and dropped over about an 11-state area, killing about 350 people, and so this is the moment. It's coming, and so the tornadoes start out fairly small, but then each one becomes progressively larger, and they kind of herald the king. They're hoping in their attempts to get close enough to a tornado to possibly learn ways of creating a better warning system in the hopes of eventually saving lives, and also just to understand better what takes place inside of a tornado. There's still a lot of unanswered questions. They understand the atmospheric things that come together to cause them, but for years they've been trying to get a weather package, kind of like a flight recorder, inside the twister. To do the reaction shots of the actors, they had to have wind machines. Not only did they have an army of Ritter fans, but they actually had a jet engine mounted on an 18-wheeler, a commercial jet engine that with a hopper above it that dropped debris down that blew at us. When I went in to meet Jan de Bont before he cast me in this movie, his main thing with me was he had seen a couple of films I was in. He was most anxious to know how I felt about the physicality, the physical demands of the role, and I was up for it. I read the script. I saw what was required of the actor in that role, and I loved it. I started running 3 miles a day 2 months before I did this movie. Because I wanted to be up for this. I was excited. Jan likes to put the actors very close to the action, like I've said, and that was okay with me. Well, in a way, our relationship kind of affects what's happening all around us with these storms that are moving in. We were a very tempestuous couple. We worked in the same field. We were highly competitive, but there was a part of her that I could never kind of get close to. And finally, we just burned each other out.
Well, we haven't seen a tornado in a film since basically The Wizard of Oz was the last tornado I remember. We've seen hurricanes, Hurricane Andrew, all the natural disasters. We've seen earthquakes, fires, lots of movies, but to my recollection, none about tornadoes. And so that intrigued me. My character is Dr. Melissa Reeves. I'm a psychologist, and I help people with reproductive issues. I am also the fiance of Bill Paxton's character, and he used to be a storm chaser and is now a weatherman. And we are living in Oklahoma City. We want to get married. We need divorce papers signed, and his wife, Helen Hunt, invites us down. She will not sign the papers until he comes down and sees her face to face, and so I go with him, of course, on the biggest storm brewing weekend in the century, and I kind of get involved in this storm chasing, something that I've never done. So I'm really kind of like the audience, because I know absolutely nothing about what he did prior to his life with me. So I know nothing about tornadoes. I know nothing about, you know, the weather and the hail and so I'm seeing it for the first time with the audience. Melissa definitely is the character who says, you know what, this is not normal. People who put themselves in danger like this and put themselves this close to a natural disaster, it's not normal. And so I'm the one who's saying, are we sure this is safe? You all are crazy. You know, it's like children, don't go out and try this at home. If you hear there's a tornado warning, go into your cellar. But these people don't. I mean, these are real, actual people that have this as a job. Storm chasing is their job. What I think Jan is hoping to do is bring people as close to a tornado as you'd ever want to get without ever having to hurt yourself whatsoever. And it's ominous. I've seen some of the footage that ILM is doing, and it's wild. It's just going to be a wild ride. And if you could sit back and really just enjoy it, it will take your breath away. Well, what makes Twister so exciting, I think, is that the fact that tornadoes are unpredictable, and they shoot down at any moment, and you're chasing it. You're basically chasing the weather. And if you've spent any time in Oklahoma, which many people have not, the weather changes constantly. And these storm chasers are in their cars speeding down highways chasing a storm. And then suddenly you have to stop because the storm turns around back at you. You know, and then you're running away from the storm. So it's that cat and mouse chase with the weather, with this great ominous thing that these storm chasers deal with, and that's where the rush comes from. And it's also a great race between two teams who are, you know, challenging each other to get there first. And one team would be willing to share information, the other team isn't so willing to share information, and it's man against nature, and it's wild. It's a wild ride.
I just think the whole phenomena of tornadoes is one that, up until this point, totally escaped me. I don't profess to know everything about them. I don't think anyone does. I just know a lot more about them now than I ever did, and they're fascinating, fascinating things to witness if you ever have the opportunity to do that. It's one thing to see them on tape, or hear about people talking about him, but it's quite another to be there and see one. He's the famed director of Speed, that out-of-control bus that you can't get below 50. Now he's dealing with an out-of-control tornado. They've spared no expense at bringing reality to the situation. I mean, as you can see behind me, this is the town of Wakita that only a few days ago had nice, beautiful, sparkling sidewalks, has now been laid waste to look as if an F4 just trampled right through it. And just to walk around that and just see how close it looks to the footage that I've seen, and I'm sure others involved with this picture have seen it, it's uncanny. And I think even the locals are kind of stunned. They're out there, and you know, a lot of them are the extras, and they're like looking around, they're going, my God, I guess this is what would happen if a tornado hit us, you know? And it's a pretty hairy thought. We've all become avid Weather Channel watchers now as a result of this picture. I mean, I never used to study the weather at all until this picture started. You know, occasionally I look at the news, I go, oh, it's going to be warm tomorrow, and it's partly cloudy. And, you know, most of the weather, they're like, well, it's partly cloudy, maybe some showers, could be sunny. They never know. But now, I'm looking at the map on the board now, I'm going, well, that cold front looks like it's looking pretty hairy right there. What's going on with the jet stream? Huh? I think there could be a storm coming this way, you know? It's based around two teams who are chasing and trying to deploy the same instrument pack so that they can, inside of a tornado, so that they can discover new hidden secrets about the core of a tornado and thereby develop a new advanced early warning system.
Maybe I'm different as a director in that way, that I direct very much from an audience's point of view. I direct what I would like to see if I was an audience sitting in the theater. So that's why I don't do those big shots what the people normally have in normal movies. They shoot a whole scene in one shot and then cover it. I can't do that. I want to, because every shot to me has to be different, because my mind is an audience. I want to see this, I want to see that. Oh, wow, this is great too. Let me get that. Let me see it from this angle, from that angle. So I want to see, I want to put those cameras on all those incredible, exciting places to really, get the audience involved, because I'm the audience. Well, the only comparison that you maybe could make is that people tend to say that Speed was a very fast-moving picture. I think this one is a little quicker, a little faster. And also, they love the adrenaline of getting close to a tornado. I mean, and it's like we all want to be close to danger. We don't going to get too close, but close enough so that we get the adrenaline going. Because I wanted to get a very realistic look of it. I looked at tons and tons of films, of documentaries about those tornado chases and about what sort of tornadoes look like, and it's all very rough. And I wanted to get the feeling, for the audience that they were really participating in this movie, that they were making the same kind of, trip, through all those wild circumstances to get there. And so the movie's kind of shot almost in a documentary way. It feels very rough. It feels like things go wrong and not always not in a pretty way. And things happen to them that are quite unique. And you're going to have to see the movie what will happen exactly. But it is one of those things where you slowly are being pulled into the movie, and you basically drive in the car at one point. You're one of those guys. The audience is going to become one of those chasers and trying to search for that tornado. I see that's my number one choice. From the moment I read the script, I knew this was only one person who could play the part. Actually two people. I mean, both Helen and Bill, I knew from day one, they had to be the Joe and Bill. And I was like, God, how do you get her? She's doing this TV series, very successful, and she had never done one of those big movies, and the studios were a little bit worried about, taking the risk of, a movie not finishing on time and then having her to go back to the TV series. What are you going to do if we run over schedule? And I finally convinced him that it is more important to have an actress that's perfect for the part than the risk you would take by maybe losing a week or so at the end, or 2 weeks. And they finally agreed with me, and she turned out absolutely perfect. It couldn't be better. But I like women to be really strong. That's what I liked in Sandra Bullock in Speed. She's a strong woman. She knows what she wants. She's in control of her own life. And I have the same feeling with Helen Hunt. She knows exactly what she wants. She's very smart, very educated, and I feel I feel real emotion with her. It's not played. It's not artificial. It's a real human being. You cannot bring actors or crew for that matter close to a tornado. I mean, they would die. And I mean, so I was smart enough not to bring any. The moment there was a tornado warning even close by, I said, okay guys, stop, let's move away from them, because you can't do it. It's just too dangerous. So we knew we had to create tornadoes in the computer. And we have done a lot of testing before we started the movie, because we wanted to make absolutely sure that the test would work, and that you could do that in a realistic way.
And the test turned out to be very good, very successful, and that kind of convinced us to make the movie, basically. But the film is full of effects. They're pretty unique effects. It's kind of another breakthrough, which is kind of nice, because it is so photorealistic. Because the movie being shot in a documentary way, the effects have to be, and has to have the same feeling to it. It's very, very hard to do. You know, there's no steady shots. Everything is like rough and on the go and running and moving, and which is really hard for any computer company to do that, you know. Yeah, that's nobody actually really know. I mean, the F5, which is like the most powerful tornado, they can go over more than a mile wide, and with wind speeds of up to 300 miles an hour inside the core, which is like 2 to 3 times as strong as the biggest hurricane. It's totally, you know, it totally pulverizes everything. Nothing's left. It's like never even existed before. So the power is unbelievable.
Well, you know, when I first went into Oklahoma and I started meeting a lot of these guys, and I asked exactly this question: why do you do this? What got you into it? And the interesting thing I found out was many of them cited stories of their childhood, where they literally remember experiencing a tornado when they were 5 or 6 years old, and at that moment decided it was something they needed to better understand. So they really chase because they wanted, to some extent, they want to get inside one of these tornadoes. At the same time, they really want to experience, learn, be a part of predicting the weather. They take it very seriously. Most of them are scientists. They actually reference some of the storm chasers who don't do it for scientific reasons as being yahoos. So that sort of distinguishes one from the other. But they take it very, very seriously. And I think they believe, and I happen to agree, that they do make a contribution. I think in the long run that chasers will provide valuable information toward an ability to create warning systems for that part of the country so that hopefully lives can be saved. In this case, I think that Helen Hunt really embodies somebody who immediately has a sense of self-confidence. Very independent. And actually that's been the source of their problems, is that in a sense she doesn't entirely need her husband for that kind of support. She's very capable on her own. However, emotionally she needs him. So that's really what develops and evolves through the course of the story, is that they recognize a need for one another. Well, I think that Jan is a phenomenal shooter. I mean, this movie, in terms of action, goes beyond speed. So it is nonstop, and Jan is nonstop. I mean, he moves faster than any person on the crew. So it becomes really a job of keeping up. And Jan is usually running, placing every camera himself. He works with multiple cameras on every single shot, so that you have a very fast-cutting, quick-moving energy to every single scene in the movie. What a movie like this does, it only gives you more respect for nature. Because as you're trying to duplicate just a little tiny scene, what it is you have to put into that to even come close to what the actual event would look like is phenomenal. Well, you know, disaster is kind of a funny word, because I think whenever you can deal with phenomenal natural events, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, fires, things like that, we tend to think of them as being extraordinarily beautiful at the same time that they're extremely dangerous. And in this case, tornadoes are incredibly fascinating. And the minute you see the sky and the lightning and then the formation of a tornado, you can't take your eyes off it. Well, the emotions are that on the one hand, it's very exciting, which I think always happens with these kind of natural phenomena. It's exciting and it's scary at the same time. So on the one hand, you want to be able to see it. On another hand, you want to make sure you don't get hurt. So there's this, I know we had one situation when we were filming where we had a situation develop where it got very, very dark. Then lightning, and it was lightning, 70, 80 strikes around you happening at once, and then this downpour of rain. So for about 5 minutes, it's very exciting, and then you start thinking, okay, how am I going to get out of here?